Hi, welcome to Settle in Spain. I'm Amanda, and joining me on this crazy journey in the mountains of Andalusia in southern Spain is my husband Dave, our dog Otis, and our cats Chewy and Impy. Welcome back to our subscribers, and if you're new, it's great to see you. Don't forget to subscribe and click that bell notification so that you'll know when we have a video coming up. At the moment, our videos don't come on a regular basis. We haven't got a schedule because of the way life is for us with work, with living in the rental property and doing up the house. Things haven't yet reached a rhythm to be able to have a regular video for you, but we're hoping that will happen sooner rather than later. For those of you that watched last week and the week before, I just want to give you a huge apology about the volume issue with the voice and the music. I'm still learning, very much so. I'm using very basic equipment. This is mainly being videoed on my iPhone. I do have a microphone now, and I'm learning how to use iMovie Maker. So hopefully this week it's going to be a lot better for you. You can probably hear a lot of noise of birds in the background here, and I'll show you why. Where we're renting, there is a huge tree. It's a great big plane tree, and it is now just sunset, and they're all coming into roost. So this week, we move into the back of the property, where we haven't completely cleared yet. So you step out of the back door and you're in that little yard where the outdoor bathroom is, and there's a door on the left that takes you through to the room where the front of the bread oven is. Behind that is a room that just houses the back of the bread oven. Off that there is another room which was just a storage room, and then off the back of that there's a small garden. We are planning on opening up that storage room into the garden and making a lovely terrace at the back. It's going to be a private patio, and the back of the bread oven and the front of the bread oven room are going to be turned into a bedroom and bathroom. So this week we start to dismantle some of the stuff that's in there. So there's some clearing, there's some demolition. Owning animals comes with a responsibility, and it's one that I take seriously. That's why we don't have too many animals, because I need to be able to afford to look after them properly. Some things are quite expensive. Food for a large dog, for example, like Otis, that costs us quite a bit of money every month, and we need to make sure that we can give him the best we can. Well, this time of year is also the time of year they're due their annual vaccinations. To make sure that they're healthy, they need to go to the vet for their checkup annually, and so I take you on the little journey doing that. A few people have expressed an interest in the drives that I've put on, so there's another one on this video. This time it's the drive going along the Almanzora Valley to Arboleas, and a little bit in Arboleas itself. For anyone who's concerned about me driving and operating a mobile phone, don't worry, we have one of those little things in the car that I click it into. Unfortunately, it does move a lot. We need to get something a bit better, but it's a start. Lastly, we've got the water test that David left for me to do while he was away. And the results of that water test, we did have to redo some parts of it. There are some areas of concern. You're going to have to wait to the end to find out what those are. Okay guys, enjoy this week. Don't forget to comment and click the thumbs up or even the thumbs down. Any interaction is good in the YouTube world. It helps us to reach a wider audience. And we're really loving all the comments. Thank you so much. See you next time. I'm here. And in a minute, I'm going to head out that door and I'm going to clear that space, which is full of weeds, and somewhere hidden behind it all is a beautiful olive tree. This, where I'm stood, currently has a roof on it. That's coming off, and this is going to become a beautiful courtyard. But first thing I'm going to do now is clear out there. I tried to do a bit of filming in the backyard and garden before I started clearing, just to show you what it looked like, but it was so overgrown I could hardly get out there with the camera. So, as you can see from the branches in here, I've been a bit busy. I filled 2 bags so far, and I'll show you what it looks like out there already. Now I can actually get a camera out there. Otis is enjoying chasing the pigeons as they land on the walls and eating some grass, aren't you, boy? Yes, you are. Then a friend came over to perform a cleansing ceremony for us, using a pendulum, her skills and some incense. We wanted to make sure that the previous occupants of the house were happy that we were making it a home. After all, this building is, we believe, over 200 years old. We had had experience with Otis barking into the empty house and just wanted to make sure. We are open to different beliefs, having lived in the Middle East, Greece and Spain. Who knows, maybe one day we'll get the priest in. Thank you, Dawn, for doing that for us. We really appreciate it. Hi guys, so it is Monday, another week is with us. This morning I was working online, and then I had my Spanish class, and then I started to help somebody who was moving. They're moving up to Barcelona. So this afternoon I have to do an annual job, and it's getting the animals their annual vaccinations. So 2 cats and 1 dog need to make their way down to a town called Arboleas, where there is a vet that we're now using, and yeah, this is the fun of doing this on my own. First thing then I needed to do was actually clean the cat boxes. They've been stored outside in the yard here because the place we're renting is not that big. There's not much space to store things like this. They're made of plastic, they could stay outside in all weather. I just need to clean them every time we need to use them. Luckily we have that outdoor hose pipe here, which is so handy for so many things, including watering the garden and cleaning out cat boxes. Now I've got a tip for you from when we travelled across from Greece. Some of you know we spent 6 days travelling across from Greece with, at the time, 3 cats and 2 dogs when we set off. The 3 cats came in their cat carriers. These ones, they're Sky Kennels, which they were originally transported in when we moved from the Middle East into Europe 9 years ago now. And these were expensive at the time, but a good investment because they've lasted us and they will continue to do so. Despite being left out in all weathers, they're not showing any wear and tear at all. Now, obviously, when you're transporting pets and you're going to be transporting them over any distance, you've got to sort out their business. They've still got to go to the toilet. So what I did, I bought several packets of these. Now, it is all in Greek. Basically, a puppy pad. So this is the kind of thing that you buy if you've got a puppy. You put it on the ground or in their pen if you're penning them up, caging them up, and they use it as a toilet. It's got sticky pads on the back, and this cut in half is the perfect size to fit inside a cat crate. We've got large cats, so the crates are slightly larger than normal as well, but it works absolutely perfectly. We've got enough left that I'm still using them 2 years after the move for our annual visit to the vets, plus any other reason I need to take them to the vet as well as. Here now is half a pad. I cut it with a pair of scissors and it fits quite neatly inside the box. Just like that. We also have a couple of tips for you if you are going to be traveling with animals, whether you travel by air or by ferry as we did. Impy's name, you probably won't be able to see this, is in permanent black marker on the front of the kennel there. Live animal stickers and a couple of other things we were advised, or I was advised when we were moving them originally from the Middle East, and it also helped with our move coming across on the ferries. So on the top of the box is a laminated card saying who is with these pets. It's our name, our address, our phone number. Obviously that was the one in Greece because that was the last time we moved. Then on this side, this is from when we moved from Qatar, copies of all their documents, a vaccination book, the health certificate, the veterinary certificate and the rabies test in a Ziploc pocket. It's really hard wearing, and we've cable tied it to the side of the cage here. It was really useful on the journey because they need to see documents on a regular basis. If you have them in one place with the pet, it's the best way to do it, particularly if you're traveling by air. Okay, so a couple of tips there. Now you can see a little bit of the journey down to Arboleas and meet the vet maybe. Otis, what do you think of going to the vet? Hey, we're going to go in the car. We're going to go and see Auntie Sally and we're going to go to the vet. We are. Then it was time to get in the car and head down the hill to the vets. It was a hot day, it's been really hot at the moment, so I parked the car in the shade under the tree just to make sure it was as cool as possible for putting them in there. And as you can see, Otis actually got in before he was asked to. So there you have Chewy on the right and Impy on the left, all ready to go. So there we go guys, Otis is on the back seat and the cats have got the protector for the windscreen just in case a little bit of light comes through the back windows. Let's lock them in. This then is at ABC Vets in Arboleas. I'll link in the description down below their contact details for anyone who needs it. They were fantastic with them, and Otis seemed to still like the vet despite the fact that she only neutered him quite recently. Now here we are at the back of the house. This is the back of the bread oven. That great big round bowl you can see, that's the oven itself. It is taking up a space of just over 8 square meters. So you can imagine the size of this thing, it's huge. And the bottom of it is disintegrating. So it's time for this to go to make way for a bathroom. A volunteer is worth 10 press men. And that was certainly true of Anthony and Vicky. They came across and helped me take down the back of this. Couldn't have done it in the time without them. Thank you guys. The light in this seems a bit misty because we only have one bulb up in the corner there, and that mist is actually the dust coming off those bricks. Once we'd broken in and got a brick or two out, it was then just a matter of using a sledgehammer to get the rest. Now, I say they came out relatively easily. Compared to some other bricks that we've done, they did. These were made of mud and what appeared to be straw. They were really tough, but did start to crumble in places. Just you can see the size of them there in Anthony's hands. They really are an amazing thing.
And look, someone's actually got in. They've had to get in there and
plaster the inside of it.
It's good, isn't it?
It's incredible. And just mud bricks.
Yeah, mud bricks and horsehair.
Mud and horsehair.
Or it might not even horsehair, it could actually be grass.
Yeah, grass.
It's literally little fibres.
I can't wait for you to come over, Dave, and do the bottom bit.
So then getting the rest of the top off was just a matter, I say simply, it wasn't simply, of getting all of that brickwork into wheelbarrows and around to the front of the house and into the skip. There was one person demolishing while the other two were filling the wheelbarrows. And then it was gone.
Hi guys, so I'm in the yard over at the rental, and what I'm going to do now is go through the water testing that we did. If you remember in the last video, David went to the well, he took some water out and then realised just how complex this test is and handed it to me. He was due to leave anyway, so it made sense that I go through this. It is very complex. It measures 16 different things, including the important ones, which is lead, bacteria and pesticide. And I'm happy to say those were all negative, so that's good news so far. I'll link to this in the description down below, so if anybody wants to use the one that we have, you can easily find that. I'm not sure how much it costs, we ordered it online. Right, I've got a cheat sheet here because there's a lot to go through and I want to make sure I get it right. I've also got my laptop with some advice from friends who are chemists who know about these things so that I can get this right for you guys. This then came inside the test, and it's how you measure everything. So you either had a piece of a litmus style paper or other thing that you were dipping in different quantities of water for different amounts of time. One of them, I think, was the bacteria test. Yes, it was the bacteria test. It took 72 hours for that test to be completed to guarantee the result. So it was a lot of time, a lot of different tests, and these are the results basically. So first of all, I'll give you the things that we didn't have a problem with. We don't have a problem, as I said, with lead, pesticides and bacteria. The other things we don't have a problem with are total chlorine, free chlorine, iron, copper and hydrogen sulfide. I don't know entirely what all of those mean, but they're not a problem, so I haven't looked into it anymore, as you can imagine. There are, however, some things that are a problem. Those are the pH level, the total alkalinity, the total hardiness, the water metals, chloride, the nitrate, the sulfate. That's a lot to be concerned about. The first one then, the pH level. It has a pH of 2.0. I'll put in a picture of the results as I'm talking about each one so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, bear in mind, I did the tests, I followed the timing given, and then I took all the photographs afterwards, quite a while afterwards. So they may have developed further, I'm not sure. And that's why these ones that have come up with an issue we're concerned about, we're going to redo just to make sure. So, a high pH level. pH goes from 0 to 14. And the lower the level, the more acidic it is. To give you an idea, the acidic value of lemon juice is around 3 or 4, I believe, and so our water is more acidic than lemon juice. That is a worry, particularly for plants. If you're watering plants that like a high acidity, it's good, but not many want that much. So that's something we're going to have to look at, trying to amend the water in some way in order to use it on the land. If we find the same results in the well that's on the land, it may well be that the results there are different. The wind's picking up here as it's late afternoon, and I hope you can hear me okay. I'm getting blown away a little bit. The next one that was of concern, again I'll give you the picture, the total alkalinity. This level came out at 500, which is very high. So the alkalinity measures how the water is able to neutralize acids. We've got very acid water and very high alkalinity. The combination of those two is not a good thing. It means we've got very hard water, and we're likely to have deposits on things like our pipework, our kettles, that kind of thing. We've experienced that here at the rental property. We experienced it very badly where we were in Greece. So that's going to be an issue here, because we're also thinking of our plumbing system and how we're going to set things up, of course. So those in turn link in with the total hardiness, which is moderately high. It's not too bad considering we've lived in places where it was worse, but hopefully if we can address the pH and the alkalinity, that will help the hardiness as well. Water metals. I'll be honest, I'm not sure entirely what water metals means at this stage, because when I look up and I try and find details about water metals, there's not enough information available. We can get the water tested by the local pharmacy. I'm not sure how much they charge yet. I'm going to look into that. So once we've done our own self-test on the other well and we've retested the areas of concern, if there's still something we're concerned about, we'll take it to the local pharmacy and we'll see what they come up with. In fact, having read some things people have written online within Spain, it'll be interesting to see if they have similar results to us or not. The next thing to be concerned about was the chloride. The level for chloride came out at 500. That is extremely high and is worrying. It's an indication, let me just check on the computer here. So it indicates contamination from septic systems, road salt, fertiliser, animal waste or other waste. So that's very concerning. Luckily, because the levels of pesticides and bacteria were low, I'm not too worried about those two issues. The next one that also came up high was the nitrate level at 10. Anything above 10 you shouldn't give to a child. That's how dangerous that is, because it can cause all sorts of problems, including birth defects, according to some documentation I found online. I'll actually link to the information that I found, so if anyone else is interested in testing their water, they can have a look at this as well. Nitrate is a chemical that is quite often found in agricultural fertiliser, or waste materials such as manure or septic effluent as well. So again, we're looking at very similar concerns. Excuse me, the wind's just blowing my paper. Very similar concerns between the nitrate and the chloride, and that's indicating that there is something in common there that's causing us an issue with the water. Okay, the next one, excuse me, I'm just going to have a drink. Not water. Tinto de verano. I know that's safe. If not overly healthy. Sulfate is the next one. The sulfate level is either 250 or 500. It was unclear on the test to work out which was the true colour. This is of concern. Sulfates, however, can be a natural thing. It could be the rocks that it's passed through, but it can also be caused by agricultural runoff. So again, that's something that can be quite corrosive as well, and it's something that we need to look into a bit more. There are different filter systems that we can put in place if we need to, once we've done further testing, to make sure that the water is safe for use for washing, for cleaning, and for use on the land. We're looking into those different types of filtering systems on which is going to be best for use within our context. If you've experienced any of these issues, if you're in Spain and you've been testing your water and you've come across anything like this as well, I'd love to hear from you. How have you managed to solve this? What sort of problems have you come across? And what have you done? Okay, I need to go and play with Otis now, because clearly that's what he wants to do. We've got our neighbours down below on the land currently working there, so he's really curious to be talking to them and seeing what they're up to. And it's also nearly time to cook my husband some supper.
Luckily, I have a wide mixture of friends, and some of them, it turns out, are retired chemists. On their advice, we retested the well water with a bit of help from Dave this time and from Otis. So every test needed to be set to a different time to twirl it around and wait and everything else. It was much easier with some help. We were advised to run the water for a long time to make sure that the system was completely flushed through, the pump was completely flushed through. This we did before filling a bottle that had been sterilised, and I also had a sterilised jar to test each one that we were retesting. I didn't start, I was waiting for you to say start now, sorry. So we retested those ones that were of concern. The sulfate was down to 25 and the water metals was down to 10. That we were really pleased about. It's one less thing to worry about. However, the pH, the alkalinity, the hardiness, the chlorate and the nitrate are all still a concern. The nitrate is actually up slightly. We have since found out we can get a reverse osmosis filter which will fix the pH level. The rest of it we're going to be looking into and doing some research. If you know anything, please do let us know. Both wells should in theory be the same. We'll test the one on the land in the future, but they have the same common underground water source and they're not that far apart. This test that we did was only a home testing kit. It came from America. It should be good. It's certainly had good reviews when we looked at it online, and I don't think we're going to get anything different from the local pharmacy test, but maybe in the future we will do that, just to see if it's any different. So as I already said, please do comment below if you have any experience of this, or if you have any advice you can help us with. We really appreciate it. Thank you. That's it for this week, guys. I'm going to leave you with this video of Dave and Otis playing in the house. We finally have a house that's big enough for Otis to play in, and he really enjoyed this. It's so funny for me just watching it back again. I feel like we should have the Benny Hill theme tune running on top of this, but unfortunately that's not possible with copyright. Thank you to everyone who's continued to watch us, and thank you to our new subscribers. Don't forget to comment, like and hit that bell button so you know when our next video is coming up. Hopefully my gardening gloves will still be usable after this. See you next time, guys. Bye.